What is that one trick that they really don't want you to know? Serious. Most of the dulling that occurs with cartridge razor blades is not a result of shaving, but rather water being left to evaporate on the blades. I've been using the same cartridge for the past 8 months by running the blades upwards, i.e. opposite the direction you would when shaving, on a towel 15 times after rinsing it off. Then blowing on it for a few seconds. 8 months later this blade still barely pulls at all. I have a small mason jar half filled with rubbing alcohol that I swish the blade in after I shave. That drives the water off the blades, and when I put the shaver down, the alcohol then evaporates. Didn't reach your record, but I had a blade cartridge last 5 months. Anytime you order from Papa John's, use the promo code ARP25 and get 25% knocked off the subtotal. Works everywhere. Every time. Mr. Clean Magic Eraser S are just melamine sponges. You can buy them like 10 for $1 on eBay. Trial by written declaration. It's listed on most ticket citations, however most people do not take advantage of this. An officer forced to show up for trial gets overtime. An officer forced to sit at a desk and write their side does not. If the officer does not respond, you get off scot-free. If they do and you lose, you can request a trial de novo. And then show up in person. If you follow this full process and are polite and professional, even if guilty, you are quite possibly likely to receive a lesser fine sentence. If you want to cancel your hotel room last minute, but there's a cancellation fee, call and change your reservation to a few weeks later. Then call later and cancel it. Call around midday to change. Give a legitimate sounding reason. Meeting rescheduled. Misremembered the flight date, etc. This will, hopefully, ensure the agent doesn't make a note in the internal only notes field. Call back to cancel at least 8 hours later. It's unlikely the hotel has agents on 8+ hour shifts. Source. I used to work at a hotel. Stay date changes are rare. Even for my hotel, which was BioHair. And send up red flags. You want one employee to handle the change and another employee on another shift to handle the cancel. Hotels are notoriously awful at inter-shift communication. When buying a car, negotiate the price of the car, not the monthly payment. People are usually more concerned with what the monthly payment will be and are often ripped off. It's easy to do the math with an interest calculator if you have a roundabout idea of what your rate will be. Signs that say not responsible for damage are usually put up by the very people who are responsible for damage. A $40 sign can nip a lot of lawsuits in the bud. You're probably using too much laundry detergent, shampoo, and toothpaste each time you use them. Browse incognito to get past a paywall news website. Only works where you are allowed X articles per week. Incognito is the news stealing your neighbor's paper off his driveway and then throwing it in the trash. They might not want you to know, but they don't really care either. It's a porous paywall model. They know people can get around the paywall easily, but the hope is that some of those people eventually become subscribers. In NIT's case, they have something like over 1 million digital-only subscriptions. And the model has been working quite well for them. Just keep in mind it costs money to produce the news. If you can afford it, you should consider subscribing to a news outlet you like. Bulk vinegar can replace a lot of cleaning products. Edit. I should add that you water it down. Pure white vinegar is corrosive. I eyeball a ratio. But there's actual recipes out there. I don't know if they don't want you to know about this, but here we go. If you're going to make a purchase with an online retailer, it's often worth putting the items in your cart, then leaving the site for a little while. Because some sites will contact you with a special offer or discount code in an attempt to persuade you back into making that purchase you were going to make. Can save you a few bucks. Doesn't always work, but it's often worth attempting, especially with solely online retailers. If you bought something at a store and it goes on sale afterward but the store says they do not do price adjustments, buy another one and then return it using the original receipt. Economy size is not always the best cost per weight volume use. You will also find some stores that print the cost per weight volume in different units for different sizes. Same size packages by weight or count may have a different number of servings. So check that as well. Not a problem in the glorious EU. Price per kg displayed by law. I once lost the ticket I had received when parking my car at the airport. Upon leaving, I was told that without the ticket, they'd have to charge me for a full day. Which was fine, since I'd been parked there for a week. Edit. This was in Denver, and it was several years ago. I discovered it by accident. Haven't attempted to do it on purpose since, and have no idea if it would still work now. Some things are never really on sale. When I worked at a grocery store, the name brand sodas had a very high regular price. Then there would always be a sale on them. The sale might change at times, but the sale price would always be there. The sale price is what the company really meant to charge you anyway. After all, who wants a case of soda for $8.99 if they can buy it at $5.99 and save $3.00? I have heard that some department stores do this with clothes and other items. A $90 dress that is on sale for $55 was never going to cost $90. There is always a sale at Kohl's. Chipotle doesn't care about you trying to rip them off. Yes, we all know that the bowl gives you more and you can get extra of whatever you want. If you're slightly more committed, you can get a free water and fill it with soda, even though they now have a sign on the machine explicitly warning against it. Chipotle doesn't give a single shit. They know you're doing it, and it's been accounted for in the books somewhere. What they do know is that if they let you think you're being sneaky, and you, particularly broke college kids, think that you're gaming the system and coming out ahead, you'll keep coming back again and again. Even with responsibly sourced ingredients, the biggest cost is labor. Especially when 50% of the meal is rice, beans, and tortilla. You could get a burrito the size of a baby, and it wouldn't make a dent in the budget compared to what it costs to have 10 people cook and serve that stuff to you. Edit. Yes, I know. Stealing is bad, MK. All the people saying that have completely missed the point. Little late, but surprised me all the same. At least in California. If you have a self-storage unit that you didn't pay and was sold at auction, like on Storage Wars and similar shows, you can go to the storage facility after the auction, and if they sold the unit for more than you owed, you are legally entitled to that extra amount. Off-name and store name brands are not always cheaper. They, at least partially, rely on the misconception that brand name goods are always more expensive to sell things at a higher price. Always check the actual price tag, even if the store brand is on sale. I'm very thankful for the price per ounce thing they provide. Makes the math a lot easier if I'm debating between 2 4-packs or 3 3-packs. Pressing 0 loads of times during an automated phone robot will put you through to a human at customer services. Works for pretty much any company. It's been my experience that any automatic phone systems with voice recognition software will immediately forward you to a human agent if you swear into the phone. You are legally allowed to get a full refund for an airline ticket within 24 hours of purchase. Instead of ordering JR Cheeseburger Deluxe, order a JR Cheeseburger and ask for all the toppings. Toppings are free at Wendy's, so save several cents. You don't have to do anything. Doing nothing is always an option. Learned that from my dad. Whenever I'd say, "Dad, you have to take me to the movies," or something, he'd look and say, "Only thing I have to do is stay black and die." I didn't understand it at the time. I mean, he was a pasty white computer engineer. Makes perfect sense now though. Lower your monthly mortgage payments by discontinuing your PMI, private mortgage insurance. If you bought a house with a down payment of less than 20%, your lender required you to buy PMI. Likewise, if you refinance with less than 20% equity, You also are paying for PMI. Once you get below 80% of equity owed, you can cancel your PMI or refinance without PMI. If you have ants that just won't go away, coming from a crack in the walls, or persistently through doors and windows, just mix a small blob of jelly with some borax and then the worker ants will grab it and bring it back to feed their queen. It kills the whole colony in a day or two, and they don't investigate the rest of your house since they are working overtime on the jelly. Buying a car. Always do negotiating via email or phone and bounce offers back and forth against competing dealers. We'll always get you the best possible deal. Insurance agent here. Re-quote your insurance at least every 2 years. And if you get hurt in a car wreck, talk to your lawyer, not your agent. Real estate agents who deal with rental properties get away with blue murder because they work on the assumption that you don't know what your rights are, or that you'll give them up too easily. Whatever country and state you live in, if you're renting your current residence, learn your rights and stick to them like glue. You can contact the credit agencies yourself and lock your files so that any attempts to get new credit on your SSN requires you to unlock them. Many small or medium companies that ship goods with UPS or FedEx have very little knowledge of the buying power that they truly have. UPS and FedEx handle the majority of all small parcel shipments in America and are very willing to make adjustments in your rates if you prove yourself to be a consistent source of revenue. I started a logistics position for a considerably sized commercial printer about a year ago. We initially contacted FedEx to renegotiate our rates and now we save about 50 cents per ground package. FedEx completely analyzed our small parcel and freight demands and offered rates that completely eliminated UPS as a competitor. Not a month later, UPS noticed the decline in local revenue that our change in carriers had caused and is now offering us next day rates that absolutely blow FedEx out of the water. I'd highly suggest researching the history of both FedEx and UPS. Definitely one of the more unnoticed rivalries in today's economic landscape. A really cheap way to fly to places that usually cost way more to get to is to buy a cheaper ticket to some other place. Possibly with a different airline that makes a connection in the airport you want to end up in. So you get off there and just don't get back onto the flight. Some dude got in trouble for making a website that helped people find those flights. You can't check bags though. But that shouldn't be too much of an issue if you really need to be somewhere for cheap. The timer at the end of infomercials is meaningless. The deal will still be there when you call. I am not mad that you said this, but I am severely disturbed if it helped anyone. If a sale is set to end at a specific time of the day, i.e. noon of Black Friday. If the store is a national chain, their prices are programmed into the computer. Thus, sometimes the East Coast sales will continue until 3. Because it hasn't yet been noon nationwide. I got great prices from Walmart the last few Black Fridays, even though I went in after the sales had supposedly ended. So there wasn't a big rush. Always ask them to ring the price of something before you agree to buy it though. Gift cards don't expire in some states even if it says they do. If you buy something second-hand, call into the manufacturer and try and register it. Some companies have extended warranties on some of their products. Source: found a Dyson on the side of the road. It was toast and the motor was smoking. Call Dyson for TS and gigs. Registered it since the previous owner didn't. My downfall was that I told them I was given it and they don't transfer warranties. Thought I was out of luck and put it by the garbage. Got an email about the registration saying I'm the registered owner and have warranty till January. Called in again saying my unit is smoking. They booked a work order for the following day. $500 vacuum for free. TL. DR: if you buy something second-hand, check with a manufacturer for registration. Might get free sh*t. Edit. Words edit too. Proofread when you're posting at 3 AM kids. You don't actually have to pay the asking price for entry in the Metropolitan Museum of Art in New York City. They make it seem like it's the price of admission, but it's really just a suggested donation. They make more money than they need from wealthy donors. When you go to pay admission, just give them $1. The HR department at work is there to protect the company, not you. Be very wary of information disclosed to them. Edit. Obligatory thank you for gold. You can consolidate and dramatically reduce your student loans for free on the government website. Don't let anyone offer to do this service for you for some ludicrous sum. Edit. I'm RetroDead. The site is student loans. Gov or something and look for the income-based repayment. This is an American thing. Second edit. Microwavable instant oatmeal is just regular old oatmeal that is chopped smaller so that the hot water will work faster. You could make the same packets with a blender. The store cost of any product is in plain sight on all Walgreens products shelf labels. The Walgreens product cost code word is Brush Clean, where each letter is associated with a number. BRUSHCLEAN 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 0. You will see a combination of these letters on every label. For example, HUA equals a product cost of $5.38. I have seen similar tactic on other store labels but do not know what word they use as the code. Not a trick. Exactly. But something that a fair amount of people don't know. You don't legally have to stop for the receipt checkers at stores. Unless you are at a club store, i.e. Sam's Club, that might require you to stop or they will revoke your membership. Ha. The only place I've ever had a receipt check is at Costco. And even then it's very cursory. I didn't know this was even a thing in regular stores. The FDCPA is really helpful if you can't pay your credit cards. You don't have to turn your leased vehicle back to the dealer at the end of the lease. Our buyout for our last leased car was $14K. We took it to CarMax and they offered $15K. Then I took it to a local place that advertised that they beat CarMax. They asked if I had a CarMax estimate, as I'm sure they just typically add maybe $100 $200 on top of any CarMax offer. I said not yet. I hate that place and wanted to just bring it into you guys first and hopefully avoid CarMax. They offered $15.900. Sold it to them on the spot and made $1.900 on a leased car. Several careers are totally or nearly totally unregulated in their qualifications. You can just call yourself a psychic, faith healer, nutritionist, pastor, minister, medium, DJ, or personal trainer, and that's it. For some you'll be found out almost immediately by another professional. But since there's no licensing or required professional certification, there isn't anything they can do about it. For some you can be proven a fraud repeatedly and never face any consequences. And might even solidify your clientele's loyalty with attempts by the man Big Pharma, Obama, liberals, conservatives, reverse vampires, whoever to stop you. Graphic designer and photographer are careers where you can just show up to, if you will. Demonstrable skill always outweighs any credentials in these fields. Actually, a dietitian is a legally protected term. But feel free to call yourself a nutritionist. Grocery stores. Everything in a grocery store is pre-designed to take as much money from you as possible. The bread and milk will be in locations where you have to walk through or around the entire store to get both. The more expensive brands are at eye level. They pay for this privilege. Cereal box characters look downright at children, which connects at a psychological level to make them want more cereal. Checkout lines have candy bars at child-reaching level intentionally. New floor designs are even consulting casinos to no longer have rows and be more maze-like to keep you in the store longer. Flyers mailed to you with your name and address are tailored based on your points card buying patterns. Good smells are intentionally pumped in to make you hungry. The list goes on. Many stores have rules that prohibit employees from confronting someone they think to be a shoplifter. I've never shoplifted, but I had friends who took advantage of this. Don't do this, by the way. My friends eventually got arrested. My store does this. As a cashier, I am not allowed to confront a shoplifter. Even if I have proof. I am only allowed to call a manager. and hope that asset security is on point. What I can do is point out the item innocuously if it's in sight. 10 times out of 10 the customer will either give it to me to scan and say it slipped their mind, or say that they decided they didn't want it. The juror's right to nullify. It is our right to refuse unjust laws. Book your airfare on a Tuesday. That's when a lot of the airlines' pricing algorithms discount some seats to keep pace with their yield projections. You only need a bead of toothpaste when brushing. And when you're sick only one Alka-Seltzer. If you ask nicely at fast food places that are about to close, they'll sometimes give you the food they were going to throw out for free. Really depends on the manager working. Most places have a policy to throw it away so that the employees don't make extra food near closing time so they can take it home. I did that at a KFC way back when they had chicken nuggets. I went in 15 minutes before closing. Ordered a 20-piece box. Said hold on. Pulled out a couple of ones out of my pocket. And said make that a 9-piece. I'm short. The guy at the counter rang me up for the 9 and handed me the bag. Got home and he cleaned out the rack. Got like 35 nuggets. After working in the private sector of the medical field for over 20 years, for physicians, not hospitals, if a loved one dies, simply tell us. We will write off the entire balance and will not go after the estate or loved ones. YMMV. But again, for 20 years, I've never had a single one of my providers not say write it off. He died.